Hey guys, Cleanblade here, bringing another Pokemon TCG online video. Today is going to be the Talk Thursday. Today I have an interesting talk that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about pain and what's the worst pain we've gone through. Because the only reason why I bring this up is because right now I just got home from the dentist, and I'm clearly not in the greatest of shape right now. I do have to take pills because I got my tooth drilled. But yeah, anyways. I want to know what your guys' most intense pain was and why. Like, what happened? Give me like the dealio, I guess you could say, if you know what I'm saying. I just want to know how it happened or why was it the worst pain. It could be something simple, if you know what I'm saying. It could be something horrific, anything really. Um, and it's really up to you guys and whether or not you guys want to share or not. But I'm gonna go into mine. I think mine was when I was a little kid, and I was riding my bike, and back in my backyard when I was a little kid in my at our really old house, we had like these railroad things to like because we were elevated up from all the other yards in the so we had it like holding up our yard, if that makes sense. And as little as on my bike, and I didn't stop fast enough essentially, and I was just rolling, and all of a sudden you just see me go right over the edge real quick. And it was probably the most painful thing ever because I had a bruise on my thigh that was just absolutely massive. It was pretty insane, in all honesty. I was kind of surprised on how big it actually was, if that makes sense. Like, it was it was huge, man. Like, it took up like all of my thigh. It was just that big, if that makes sense. And I remember this because I was like being a rebel when I was little, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna wear my helmet or anything on my bike because your parents are always like, yo, you gotta put on your bike helmet, you don't want to hurt your head, all this stuff. So I'm like, nah, man, I'm a rebel. I'm just gonna go with it because that stuff doesn't happen to people like me. So I go through this and I'm just like, oh, right, blah 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 blah, nothing's gonna happen. I'm all gravy, if you know what I'm saying. And second, that goes wrong, man. I just instantly flip over, and I just bam right down on it. And I remember because I landed on my back, which is the weirdest thing to get a huge bruise on my thigh that took up like majority of my thigh. I landed on my back, okay, and my bike landed on top of me. And okay, my next door neighbor was a police officer at the time, and he comes running over. I because he was like out there with his kids or something like that were a little bit younger than me, and he just sees me go flying over this thing, and he comes rushing out there like, dang, what did this kid just do, if you know what I'm saying. And essentially everything turned out to be okay, but I will never forget that because it was the most painful thing ever. He runs over, gets my dad, and my dad just looks at me, and it's just like that face of, what did you do, if you know what I'm saying. And everything started out, I'm clearly just fine, if that makes sense, as you guys can tell. So everything's good now, but that was probably the worst experience I ever had, as like in pain wise. It was probably the worst. Another experience I had was when I was playing football, and we were in my backyard, and we had like a swing set in my backyard for the longest time until it got tore down. And when we were playing football, we would play tackle football, and I went to go like juke around like some kid that I was playing with in my backyard, and I went right in my swing set, and our swing set has like it had like little things that came out to like help support it, like triangle like things, and I just my stupid self just ran right into it, and I did like the whole like karate, like let's do a 360 spin in the air while flipping almost. And I just went down, and like I could have swore I like blacked out from it, but everybody else says, oh, you were just fine, everything, and I'm just like, man, I blacked out, you know what I'm saying. It's like, man, I was out, man. I don't remember that. Like, and I didn't hit my head or anything. Everything was just fine. I don't know what happened to this day, like what specifically caused it, if that makes sense. But man, all I know is it hurt really badly because I was sore for a while after that. And there's nothing I could really do about it. And it was just, I didn't break my leg or anything like that, and it got up and I was still playing football after that. But all I remember is that it still really, 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 really hurt. And I knew that I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And just on a side note here, I'm probably gonna end up conceding this game just because I don't want to verse Whale Lord. But yeah, um, I remember this because I got up and I was just like, man, that hurt. Let's play more football. And it was the stupidest thing I ever did. And I think a week later after that, I sprained my ankle on top of that, and I was just like, apparently it just wasn't my like time to do anything. If you get what I'm saying, it was just not my day. It was just not going my way, no matter how hard I tried. If you get what I'm saying, it was just like, nope. See you later. Come back some other time. And I will never forget that day because it was probably one of the funniest moments, but one of probably the worst moments I've ever had, just because it put me in pain, if that makes sense. It was bad in that sense, but I'm sure it was funny to everybody else because I probably got up and I looked out of it and stuff like that, and it was snowing out too. I remember this. It wasn't like during the summer or anything. We were doing it in the snow. Like, who plays football in the snow? I had like snow pants on and everything, and I was cold, and we just got back up and we started playing football again like it was nothing, and I was just like, man, I must have been one crazy kid to just get right back up, not give a rat's ass, and just continue on, if you get what I'm saying. It was just like, oh well, let's just do it anyways. I must have been a crazy kid. But yeah, guys, this is going to be all for Talk Thursdays. As you can tell, I didn't edit any of this stuff. I just thought what came out of my mind. If you guys like this, let me know in the comment section below. Also, leave me your stories of certain things that have happened to you, things like that, and tell me what happened. Give me some funny stories, all that stuff. Anything when you were a kid. It could be something when you were grown up. But in all honesty, I look back nowadays and I'm just like, man, I was a funny kid, wasn't I? So, yeah, if you guys dislike the video, hit the dislike button. We'll see you guys again on Sunday for deck profile. We'll probably go over this Lugia deck here, so be ready for that. We're going to be checking out Speed Lugia. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. Have a great one. Guys, peace out. And yes, we're conceding this one. Dun dun dun. Have a great one, guys. Peace.